Hello, party people. Flowforge here. Today, I wanted to talk about strategy and how you can get more by doing less when you use it properly. And I'm going to teach you the sort of proper workflow to get into this. And you might see on the background the Wayland anime girl. I just switched to Hyperland, so that's just going to be there for now until I get the system tweaked a little more. But you've probably seen this. This is the Eisenhower matrix, and this is a great tool to use, or at least a reminder to have, where it's going to make it so you're not doing work that you don't need to do. Okay? That's huge in productivity. That's where a lot of your productivity comes from, is just actually figuring out, okay, what's important, what's not important. Do I need to actually do this? Can I get away with not doing it? Can I make somebody else do it? Can I make AI do it? You know, all these things. I just wanted to talk about this a little bit and how this applies to ADHD, because it's going to look a little bit different for you using this. So my first tip is that if you want to use this properly, don't just have it like knocking around in your head. You're not really going to use it. What I would recommend is print it out. Don't let this exist in your head. Don't let this be something on your computer. What you can do is you could set this. I think there's better options, but this is a really good option. Is set this as your browser's new pad or new page, my bad, or home tab. So whenever you open a new tab, or whenever your browser first loads up, you're immediately hit with this as the image. Like, you just copy the link and put that in. You can set it so it automatically does that, and that would be a great option for you. It would make it so that you'd actually interact with this, or you can print it out, stick it up somewhere. You're more likely to remember it that way. Understanding the difference between an important and an urgent task. Urgent is, you probably have a million different things that you think are urgent, right? And you probably might feel like, if you are in need of more productivity as someone with ADHD, which we all are, then you probably feel like you have like this endless pile of tasks that's just existing on the back burner. And it's like, what am I going to do? Like, there's so many. I'm stressing. I'm tweaking. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Flowforge, help me out. I'm here to tell you that if you just take a moment to slow down, which I know is like the last thing you want to do right now, but you need to take the time to make more time. All right? Like, if you feel like you have no time, you need to take the time to make more time. Otherwise, you're just constantly going to be burnt out, stressed out, spiraling, not actually getting anything done. I'm not going to lie, most of the things that you think you have to do, you don't. Like, if we pretend all these little yellow marks are tasks here, we can probably delete like this many of them, right? And obviously that's like in the way, but you get the picture. So you can probably delete most of them. Your brain doesn't think this because it just sees like the deadline and it's just like, oh, I got to do it. Or it's like, oh, I got to. But it's like, okay, if you're a student, let me ask you, for like some of your homework, what is the worst thing that happens if you don't do it? Honestly, what's the worst thing that happens if you don't do it? Your teacher gets mad at you. Okay. Can you deal with that? Well, then who cares, right? Like, it's not that big of a deal. A lot of things that you think you have to do are not that big of a deal if you let them sit on the back burner. And it's kind of funny, but like, ironically, one of the most productive things you can do is just, one, stop doing so damn much, right? Like, quit stressing yourself out, quit freaking out. And then two, like, be a little bit more lazy. Because what happens when you choose to be a little bit more lazy and not busy is you can clearly identify what is actually important versus what is just like noise. And that's how you can think about it, is it's like signal versus noise. Like, you got all this noise and you want to find the signal. And the signal is going to be your needle mover. It's going to be the thing that moves the needle the most today towards your goals. Productivity is about reaching the goals that you've set for yourself. Most of the things that we think are urgent are not important. And you can tell if it's not important by asking yourself, what are the consequences of me not doing this right now? Some things, urgent things, become important over time. So if you, let's say, cleaning your house isn't that urgent. The thing that I've learned about cleaning is that things, I don't know what it is, but things tend to get exponentially more dirty. That's how I see it. So it's like you want to intervene before criticality, right? But that brings me into this. You can delegate cleaning. It's not too much, I mean, you gotta have some money, but it's not too much to delegate your cleaning to somebody else, right? Hell, you can even just pay a friend to do like some very, very basic stuff if you feel like you can't afford actually hiring a cleaner. And there's different levels to this. Like, there's different types of cleaners that you can hire that do different services. They have different variations of intensity, right? So, but you can delegate your cleaning. Another thing you can delegate is your cooking. Like all these little admin tasks throughout the day, which basically just make it so you're not focused on your needle mover, and make it so that you are essentially, it's not wasting time, obviously. Like, you need to cook to eat stuff. But if you can simplify the process and optimize the process of cooking to where it's extremely, extremely like no effort, or literally is being done by somebody else, then you're going to get a lot more done because you're not going to be wasting time. Which, it's not wasting time, but like you're not spending time on menial tasks, which means that you can spend more time on the needle mover, which is actually how you get more productive. And remember, compound effect. So every little minute that you can add to needle mover every single day adds up. Okay? It's a multiplier. So try and delegate things. Try and delegate like every little task that you can. Your time is precious. Like, you need to understand, like, your time is more valuable than money. Not everybody understands this, but like, your time is more valuable than money. Most people trade their time for money, right? But what you should be doing is you should be trading your money for time. Because time is, you can never get it back. So anything that optimizes your life in such a way where it makes it just a little bit easier, just a little bit more convenient, or you save a little bit of time, then that's what you should be spending money on. Another thing is, if you do this and you have more time and you're working on your needle mover, then what you can do is you can purposefully spend time working on things that you can exchange for money, right? So it's like an infinite feedback loop. Spend your money on things that make you time, and then spend that new time on things that make you more money. And then just keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again. And you're going to be doing a lot better if you actually bake this into your mindset. Like, that's how time and money work. And you want time to actually live life. Like, productivity, I've heard somebody say, like, productivity was something invented by, like, greedy corpos, and it's, like, not natural. And they're kind of right. Not just to put you off productivity, but in the sense that, like, a lot of people see productivity as this way to just, like, get, like, a extremely maximal output, and it's kind of greedy. But really what productivity is it's getting to your goals faster so that you can have more time to just chill. Or it's learning how to actually optimize your life so that you have time to chill, you have time to actually live your life, and you don't have to do so much. So I'm telling you right now, like, you might be stressing, you might be thinking like, oh, there's so many things I want to do everything, like, oh, and this is not a good mindset, because you have to realize, like, you're living your life right now. Like, the whole advice of, like, sacrifice everything right now for a better future, that's dumb. Like, you're living life right now. And if you try and sacrifice everything for a better future, you're going to get to that future and then realize, like, you don't know what the hell you're doing. Like, you don't even know who you are because you just spent 24/7 working, right? So productivity is not about just getting more things done. It's about optimizing your time so that you can free up more time to just chill and do nothing and be a human, right? Because your brain is not made for productivity. Productivity is something that you force your brain to do, okay? But you absolutely need it if you want to be able to chill. Like, you just need it. Double chin. Delegate and automate things. Like, that's another word I'd use, is automate. If you can automate it, absolutely do it. Like, spend the upfront time it takes to tweak your workflow a little bit to automate the small things, because again, compound effect, what's going to happen? It's going to make a huge difference in the long run. Like, shaving off a few seconds here and there, in the long run, will save you minutes, hours, which turns into days. And that happens much quicker than you think. And that's the same thing with money. So if you're struggling with money, you just need to understand that, like, when you save money, you make more money. And it happens faster than you think. All right? So anywhere where you can cut corners, anywhere where you can, and I'm not necessarily saying cut corners, because my whole thing is like, you want quality, you want things that just work. Okay? So anything that you spend money on that just works is really good. Or if you can spend time on something that's a little bit harder, a little bit less, it's just going to work, but it's more customizable, and then you can spend time and get that to where it just works, oh yeah, you're golden, right? So optimize your time by delegating and automating things and tweaking workflows to make them stronger and more streamlined, okay? But if it's not important and not, okay, I'm going to talk about what's actually important. So if what's important is like things where it's like there's dire consequences to you not doing this. Even if the dire consequence is just you not being the person you want to be, okay? Now, remember, you need to have the or not and mindset, because a lot of people watching this video are probably taking on way too much, probably have shiny object syndrome, and they're doing a million different things that none of them are actually moving the needle, and you're bouncing around between them, and you're not focusing on any of them. So you're not actually getting work done on any of them, because success is a compounding and exponential thing. Like, you need to actually spend enough time on it before you get to this point. And the fastest way to get to that point is to do nothing but that thing, right? There's going to be some important things that when you have this mindset, you have to sacrifice. But it's important that you do, because you need time to be human, and you also need time to, like, spend with your family and friends and engage with your hobbies. And you just can't do it all, man. You can't do it all, okay? You need to stop doing so much. You need to focus on 1 or 2 projects at a time. That's really the limit, is like 2 projects at a time. Sometimes more if it's like a workflow. If you've already got a workflow like really streamlined, then maybe you can add some more. You know, you need to figure out where your capacity is. You need to figure out how much free time works for you. Some people need a little bit more. I guarantee that, like, you probably can work more than you think. I don't know. It depends. Like, some of you, people fall into different camps. Like, some people work way too much and still think that they can do more. And this is a momentum thing. This is why some people have this mindset. And then other people think that if they start doing any more, that they'll, like, crumble. And these are both bad mindsets. You need to find the balance in between. You need to figure out, like, okay, you need to understand that you can do a lot. Like, you can do a lot. You can do way, way, way more work than you think, probably. But that doesn't mean that you should, right? Like, if you are going into hyperfocus, and hyperfocus is an exponential collapse of attention, right? And if you keep this up for too long, you'll get burnt out, because your attention will collapse to a point where you're basically like a zombie. And a little bit of that is okay. Like, you want to push it. Like, it's okay to push that, but it's also not healthy, because it's addicting, and you'll get to the point where you basically become a workaholic. Like, that's what it is. And being a workaholic isn't good. Like, being a workaholic is like you can't pull away from the work. And I'm guilty of this. Like, I'm typically in this state because I am trying to push the boundary of my hyperfocus. But I'm literally a productivity coach. Like, you don't need to be doing that, right? Unless you're, like, running a business and you're trying to be, like, uber productive, you don't need to be doing that, okay? Something that is important is something with drastic consequences. Like, let's say, and it might not be urgent, right? Like, let's say spending time with your family is actually really important. Like, if you never spend time with your family or friends and never socialize, and you're like, oh, it's not that urgent, I can put that off. Like, you'll put it off and put it off and put it off, and then eventually you'll realize, like, there's nobody left and you're alone, and it sucks. Or it's like you've missed everything, and then when you go to try and talk to the person, you're like, in your head, you're just like, oh, finally, it's been like 4 months and I can just talk to this person. And then they're like, bro, I'm living a completely different life than when I was hanging out with you. And, like, they may not even want to hang out with you anymore. You know what I mean? Probably not. Like they'll probably just hug you. But it's like this is serious. Like you need to take time to do the important things. You need to figure out what's important, and then you need to prioritize doing important things over urgent things, which I know is like very difficult for our brains. But you need to, and if you're worried about it, like if you're worried about time and getting things done, what you can do is you can just spend a little bit of time doing something important, right? Like tell yourself you're basically going to do a micro important task where you're just going to start it. Because another thing is if you start something, this is called the Zeigarnik effect, is if you start something, your brain is much more likely to loop back to it and finish it. So you can use this strategy to just start like really hard work, or you can just start important things. Like you can uh, call your or like text your mom and be like, "Hey, I'm going to talk to you at this time," right? Like you can schedule it. Which is another thing is if it's not urgent and it's important, you can schedule it. That's what this decide means. It's basically like you pick a time, set a reminder on your Alexa, set a reminder on your phone, put it in your calendar, do something, but you basically come back to it later, and you know that you're going to do it, right? So cleaning is an example of this for me. And I don't schedule everything. Like I almost never use my calendar. What I tend to do typically, like what works a lot better for me, and for your flavor of ADHD, you might need to do more scheduling. You might need a little bit more rigid structure. I find that my brain hates structure. Like it just doesn't like it. It kind of rejects it. What works better for me is just kind of understanding the pulse of things and the pulse of my workflow. And so I know that towards the end of the day, after I've made content and after I've done some outreach and after I've worked on a few business related tasks, then I have like this window of time where I can either chill or I can work on these sorts of things where it's like not urgent and not important, which are typically things like cleaning, or it is important but not urgent, my bad. And so this is typically when I'll like clean, I'll like sweep some stuff, spray some things down, yada yada. Or I'll do like a deeper clean on Sundays, which are the day that I'm not supposed to be doing outreach. Like I'm supposed to be working on computers. Like Sundays are my computer day. So like that's another thing is setting days where on that day you have like a primary focus and then a secondary focus. That's what I do is Sundays are my computer days. Saturdays is my off day. Like I'm just supposed to be doing whatever I want on Saturday. Typically I will wind up working on a personal project or I'll like tweak my system a little bit. It just kind of depends on what I want to do. And I try to have work done, like the content ready to go before this day. So that's another thing is like you can do batch tasks. Like doing tasks in batches helps a lot because your brain does not like switching tasks. It costs a lot of energy to switch tasks. You'd be surprised how much energy it costs just a neurotypical to switch tasks. But then if you have ADHD, it's like basically 3 times as much. So you need to think of task switching as basically as like the enemy. And in order to avoid task switching, you need to use this Eisenhower matrix to actually make sure you're not doing things you don't need to be doing. And you need to eliminate the random distractions, like the chaotic elements that just like show up and like mess everything up. That is what you can do. And lastly, like just delete things, dude. Like you need to make sacrifices. Like there's some important things that you might want to do that you can't do right now. Okay. And if you are burning with ideas and all these things that you could be doing and you want to do all these cool things, my advice is to get a box, label it ideas or like cool things or like whatever area of life you're having this with, this problem, get some note cards, write the things down on the note cards, put them in the box. And then your brain is like, okay, it's somewhere, it exists, I can go back to it if I need it. And then it'll chill out. Clear your cache, which your brain gets full. Like we live in a very fast-paced society and there are multiple different kinds of rest and your brain kind of needs all of them to function. And the one that we typically don't have, especially as people with ADHD, we're typically overstimulated, is mental rest. And so clearing your cache is like your brain starts to fill up with this garbage all throughout the day and all throughout the week and throughout the month. And you need to just kind of let it out. Like, you need to like vomit. So brain dumps are good for this. What I do for brain dumps is I get a text document out and I literally just start typing. And I just start typing and I don't even think. I just like let my brain type whatever it wants. Sometimes I'll just like start mashing keys and it's just kind of like sensory and it feels good and it feels like something's like getting out, you know? And then I'll go back to like typing and some wild stuff will appear on there, but I just like let my brain spit whatever stuff out that it wants to spit out. Okay? And then I just burn it when it's done. I just delete it. But that helps me, you know, stay more focused, stay more clear, keep my head in the game because I actually got it out. And you'll know when you need to do this because typically it'll be when you're starting to approach like zombie mode, which is like dangerous hyperfocus, I would say. It's not dangerous, like it's okay to be in zombie mode, but it's not ideal either. If you stay in zombie mode for too long, you will get burnt out. If you're in zombie mode and your focus is like really collapsed, like it can be a good time to do this. It can kind of unwind and like slow your momentum down a little bit. So this is a good tool that you can use to pivot. The whole thing I wanted to get at with this video is that you need to take the 5 minutes to actually plan your productivity. Productivity is, it's like shooting an arrow. It's like you pull back and that's where all of the effort is, like this one action where you, and this is your planning, where it's like pulling back the arrow and you're like looking around, trying to figure out where you're going to fire. That's you picking your needle mover and then you fire the arrow and then it flies and you don't have to do anything. It's just going, right? And there's no effort on your part, basically. Like once you actually get into this hyper focus, once you actually get into this zone, or once you enter a flow state, you're good. Like you don't really have to worry about it. But if you don't pick the right target, what's going to happen? Like you're just going to waste your time. And then if you try to like change in midair, it's not going to work. You need to take the 5 minutes, the 10 minutes, the 30 minutes, the hour of actually strategizing. If you're strategizing for an hour, it should be like a very long-term thing, and you need like a crystal clear vision of what you're trying to achieve in life and like understand every single variable. That's what that hour-long session is for. But typically just take like 5 minutes and be like, okay, look at the Eisenhower matrix. What do I have on my plate? What am I trying to do? What's actually the needle mover? And then basically try and get everything that isn't the needle mover off of your plate. And this important but not urgent is optimizations. Like if you know that a workflow needs to be optimized, then this is what you can use to actually make it more optimized. And don't just sleep on this info. Like I actually want you to set a picture of the Eisenhower matrix as your new page. Like that's what you should do immediately after this video. When you see it, take it as a trigger, a reminder to take like 5 minutes, 1 minute, 20 seconds to just think about your productivity for a second before you dive in. And like also ask yourself like, hey, do I maybe need a break? Like, do I maybe need, like, am I in a position where I need a break, or am I in a position where I don't have enough momentum and I need to actually get more work done? And my brain is like lying to me and like giving me resistance. Like you need to actually cognitively use your head, and then you will have the answer, and you will save so much time because you're not working on things that don't matter, or you're not like just kind of like putzing around thinking like, oh, I might be doing too much, you know? And it's like, oh no, I'm actually completely capable of doing enough. But it's just, you need to get out of the default mode network, which is basically like this kind of network in your mind, and your brain works in networks, all right? It works in like different modes. And if you're just kind of in the mode of just like, oh, like not really thinking, just kind of like going through the day and working, you're going to miss a lot. So you need to actually like become aware and like use your cognition and switch into a different mode when you're about to plan your productivity, even if it's just for a second, and then you'll realize things that'll literally save you hours of time, which adds up in the long run, okay? Because remember, the compound effect times the multiplier, or the input is the multiplier over time. That's all I've got for you guys today. Let me know if it was helpful. If you thought this was helpful, go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, do all the things that juice it up, the algorithm, so it gets pushed to more people. And if you want some mentorship for these things, if you want to grow in the skill of ADHD productivity, because they're different, like normal productivity and ADHD productivity are completely different beasts, I can help you do that. It's $50 a session. Just let me know in the comments and I'll reach out to you. But that's all I got today, guys. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Peace.